Hey yogis, welcome to Limitless Yoga Studio Online. My name is Kelsey Wright. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We've got some really great content and you're going to want to stay up to date on it. We also have a patron account. There's a link below this video where you can donate so that we can continue to crank out really great content. Today's class I've designed for with headaches in mind. We so often get a lot of tension and stress in our necks and shoulders. A lot of us have to hunch over technology for most of our day. A lot of this leads to some pretty severe tension, headaches, or just overall achiness in that area. So today's class, all about getting rid of those headaches. It's going to be some myofascial release and some stretching to address the issues currently, but it's also going to be strengthening techniques and postural awareness so that you can cure it in the long run, because we don't want them to keep coming back. So we have to have a few props for this class. You're going to want a yoga block. You're going to want 2 tennis balls or 2 myofascial release balls of the same size. A resistance band, but you don't have to. I'm going to show you how you can do both, do our exercise both ways. And then either a blanket or a beach towel works really, really well for what we're going to be using this for. So gather up all your supplies. I know it's a lot. It's going to be totally worth it though, because after this class, you're going to have an amazing amount of tools in your toolbox to help you address headaches and eventually just get rid of them altogether. So to start out, you're going to want your blanket or your beach towel. And what we're going to do is a sneaky little trick here that's going to help shut down the muscles in your neck and let them finally just rest, because basically they're in charge of holding your head up against gravity all day. And they kind of get tired of working once in a while. So we're going to give them a break. What we want to do is we want to take the towel or the blanket and we want to give it a little bit of a roll. Now, what I commonly see when I instruct this in a class is that people over roll and then they overfill the neck gap, which is where we're going to place it. And you end up kind of looking like a Pez dispenser. Your throat's all open. So you really do want just kind of a small enough roll to fit that neck curve like a perfect puzzle piece. So for me, it's about 1/3 of the roll-ish. And then as I roll down, I'm going to match that roll perfectly with the space of my neck. So I don't want to feel like my chin is tucked. I also don't want to feel like my throat is open. I want this really nice, perfectly symmetrical, wonderful position for the neck. And I can always adjust a little bit more, a little bit less, just to make sure that, again, I have this really nice fitting piece under my neck. All right. So once we have this established, you can either bend the knees and plant the feet, or if you'd like to lengthen out the legs, you're more than welcome to do so. And then with the arms down by the sides, go ahead and close down the eyes. Get out any fidgets, wiggles, movements necessary. And then with the eyes closed down gently so you don't furrow the brow, we're going to start to breathe in and out the nose. So the first few cycles of breath here, I just want you to notice where the air is going. Trace it in the nose, down the throat, and then just notice what's expanding, what's filling up, what's getting stretched out. How far is the air going down the torso, and what does it influence? And take one more big cycle of breath here. Just kind of taking in that information. And then I want you to do your best to expand that. So on your next inhale, see if you can trace the air in the nose, down the throat, all the way to the pit of the belly, and then slowly allow that air to fill up the belly, to spiral up through the rib cage, and eventually land in the chest. So make it your intention to take cycle of breath after cycle of breath, filling up to your max capacity, not stressing anything, not forcing anything, just the idea of gently reaching your max inhale by incorporating 360 degrees around the waistline. This means not only is our belly rising towards the ceiling, but our back body is moving down towards the floor. Sometimes it's helpful to visualize the rib cage like an umbrella, opening equally on all sides, and then closing back down in the same way. So as you continue to monitor your breath, as you continue to work towards that max inhale and exhale, turn your awareness for a moment to the neck, getting heavier in the shoulders. You're letting all the neck muscles rest, giving them a chance to reset. They've probably been straining to hold your head up for a while. This is a really nice way of giving them a vacation. We're going to take 3 more cycles of breath here. Maybe you choose to count your inhale and compare that number to your exhale. Keeping the muscles of the face soft. Give me 1 more cycle of breath. Send this exhale down the neck, noticing how long it is, how soft it is, how heavy it is. And then the next thing we're going to do is a really nice massage for the muscles of the neck. So we're going to need our block. So I'm just going to very slowly bring myself up, and I'm going to replace the blanket roll with the block on the medium setting. So I'm just going to pull this blanket out of the way. We'll need him in a second anyway, towards the end of class. We're going to replace it with this block on the medium side. I want to hook the edge of the skull onto the edge of the block. So it's almost as if my neck were in a hammock. Okay? We don't want to force the chin downwards. This is just kind of a natural tilt. Take a moment to get as heavy as you can in the shoulders. Come back to that sense of stillness and heaviness that you had with the blanket roll. Make sure that your body's not fighting this pressure. We actually want to feel the tissue kind of give way to the corner of the block. And then once you're for sure you have that, go ahead and slowly begin to roll the chin to the right and to the left as if you were shaking your head no. Now you want to go slowly enough that the brain has time to decide which areas are grumpier than others. So try not to just swing your head around. And eventually we might want to go earlobe to earlobe, trying to find that full range of motion. If you begin this movement and it doesn't feel quite right, absolutely make adjustments in that block to make sure that you have this nice, clean connection between the block and the skull. That as you flow back and forth, it's a nice deep tissue-like feeling for those muscles that work all day long to keep the head on the shoulders. Take 1 more cycle of this right and left movement, kind of noticing where your sticky spots might lie. And then the next time you find one of those sticky spots, I want you to pause on it and then just slowly shake your head yes. So just a gentle scrub here. Again, it's a small movement. It's a slow movement. We're taking our time here dealing with these little wrinkles that might happen. After a few scrubs, it's feeling a little less intense, so I'm going to go back to shaking my head no. And then as soon as my body tells me that there is another spot that's a bit cranky, I'm going to just gently shake my head yes and address that spot. So we'll be here for about another minute. Just take your time moving ear to ear, finding those spots, and you may find the same spot multiple times. That's okay. Your brain is just telling you that that spot definitely needs a little bit of investigation. But it is worth noting which side in general, right or left, is a little bit grumpier. This can give us some indications of what we might be doing throughout our day, whether that's always, having a purse or a book bag on one side, carrying our kiddos with one arm. Maybe it's even when you're sitting in your office chair, you're leaning all your weight on one arm, or it's using the mouse with one arm. Could be your sleeping position if you're a side sleeper and you've got one shoulder kind of tucked up underneath you. Lots of things contribute to it, so just take a moment and maybe consider why the right or left is a bit crankier than the opposite. And then we're all going to meet back chin to chest exactly where we started. Give me a big breath here. Get heavy, relaxing the shoulders, lengthening the neck. And then trying not to spend a lot of energy. We're going to slowly flutter open the eyes. Both hands grab the block. You're going to push the block into a full body stretch. Reach the fingers, reach the toes. Big inhale. And then on your exhale, I'm going to gently set that block aside. I'm going to bring the knees into the nose, give myself a big squeeze, wiggling the toes, rolling out the ankles. You might even take the nose to the knees to lengthen and stretch the tissue that you just massaged. As I come back down, I want to place the feet about hip distance apart, hands down by the sides. Gently pressing into the feet, you're going to lift the hips, lift the hands, roll a wave up the spine, maybe tap the floorboards behind you, and then bring it down, tucking the tailbone towards the heels. So I don't want you to worry about getting up really high up off the floor. This is much more about articulating the spine and giving yourself a massage. So try to visualize these waves moving up the spine, one vertebra at a time, and then gently bring that wave right back down. Finding movement in every single link of the chain. One more round. and pause. Take a big breath. On your exhale, gently bring the knees into the chest. We're going to rock up and down the spine a few times, give yourself a massage, and eventually we're going to pop up all the way to a seated position. All right, so sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to explain a exercise that we're going to do, and we're going to do it on the floor just because it is the kind of the easiest way to really get that tactile feedback and feed the muscles or feel the muscles. And then we're going to use it throughout the whole class. All right. So just to start here, place your fingertips on either side of the spine. There we've got these big ropey muscles that run along each side. So just gently put your fingertips on them. And then what we want to do is we want to feel those muscles kind of bulge out a little bit as if they're gently pushing our fingers away. All right. So what I'll be asking you to do is to push your head into the mat as you're laying down, and you're going to slowly feel those muscles move. Okay. And then we're going to be doing this in lots of different positions. Okay. These are the muscles that are so very important to keeping our heads stacked up over our shoulders. And so often those muscles get a little bit weak and we have kind of this forward head carriage. All right. So knowing this, keeping your fingers right there for that feedback, go ahead and lay down. Make sure the skull is flat against the mat. So if you need to mess with your hairdo, go ahead. And then making sure that the back of the neck is just a tick longer than the front of the neck. No double chins, just a nice long back of the neck. I'm going to gently put my hands right there. I'm going to push my skull into the mat and then relax. And this isn't an insane move. I'm not trying to spend a ton of energy. I'm just pushing the skull back, feeling those muscles light up, and then relax. So take a couple of these pushes, playing with the idea of getting these muscles activated, the ones that go from the skull down the spine, the ones that are going to hold us up in every position throughout gravity. So just take a couple of pulses, keep pushes. We're not taking the chin to the chest, okay? We are very much keeping almost as if you have like an airplane pillow on or a neck collar on. You're going to keep that position and just push the skull straight down. Give me 3 more. This muscle can fatigue quite easily, so you might already be feeling those neck muscles get a little tired, and that's fine. It means you've definitely recognized where they are, and it's going to be easy to find them throughout class. So I'm going to give one more last push. Try not to push into my feet. Try not to push through my shoulders, just through the back of the skull. All right, I've got a pretty good idea of those muscles, so now I'm going to come on up. Okay, so remember that. Again, we're going to utilize it out throughout the whole class. Sitting up nice and tall, relax the chin down to the chest, get heavy in the shoulders. I want you to slowly roll out your neck and be very aware of how it feels, because we're going to compare this one to a one we're going to do in just a moment. So 360 degrees, switch when you're ready, going in the opposite direction. Again, maybe noticing where the crackles are, if there's any sore spots, intensity, sensations, take that all in, and then go ahead up and sit up nice and tall. We're going to take the arms gently up overhead. We're going to shrug the shoulder blades into the ears and then pull them down your back. Shrug them up and then pull them down. We want a couple more of these. The muscles that are moving our shoulder blades are also very important for our neck as well. Okay, last one here, and then gently take your elbows out to the side. We're going to bring the elbows in, and then we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. So now you can feel the shoulder blades going across the back. Take 2 more of these, getting everything on board with this idea of healing the neck. Okay, now I'm going to take the hands down by my sides, but I'm going to walk my fingers out as far as I can possibly reach. So really pulling my shoulders out of their sockets. Okay, from here, I'm going to tilt my ear to my shoulder, feeling a really nice stretch down the side of my neck. Now, if I want to, I can change the angle of my chin and kind of play around with getting the strap of muscle that is best for me. And everyone's going to be a little bit different here. Take a big breath, continuing to move the fingers away from the shoulders. Then after this next cycle of breath, you're going to gently bring yourself back up to center, square yourself off, and then head over in the opposite direction. I'm going to continue to walk the fingers out away from the body. I might choose a different angle of the neck here, so chin to chest if necessary. Keep the shoulder blades heavy down the back, or continuing to lengthen through those fingertips. One more breath. And then again, gently bring yourself back to center, stacking the ears on top of the shoulders. Okay, planting through that right hand. I'm going to reach up and over with the left, get a little bit of a side body stretch here. Take an inhale. On the exhale, I'm going to come back to center. That hand is going to scoop up the skull and then gently pull on the diagonal. So my hand is still walking away from me, but now I'm pulling gently, giving myself a little extra. But what we don't want to do is just smush the ear down to the shoulder. So continue to lengthen on that diagonal for one more big breath as you pull. And then we will switch. We're going to drop the left, sweep with the right. Big inhale here. Breathe right into that side body. And then as you come up nice and tall, that hand is going to scoop up the skull and pull on the diagonal, keeping the shoulder blade down the back, keeping the fingers walking away from you, maybe adjusting the chin towards the chest. Give me a nice big breath here, feeling the back of the neck, the back of the shoulder. All right, and then go ahead and slowly bring yourself all the way back to center. Okay, to get the front of the throat or the front of the neck, we're going to take the hands on our heart and pull downwards. And as I pull downwards, I'm going to jut my chin upwards, getting this stretch right down the middle of the throat. Now, if I want a little extra, I can jut my chin out like a bulldog. And then from here, I'll take a big breath. Slowly moving in one direction so I get more of the side of the neck. Take a breath here as I continue to pull that heart space down. Back to center, chin towards the ceiling. And then in the opposite direction. These muscles can get tight if we really do hunch over our phones and our keyboards all day. Last one, back to center to get nice and symmetrical. And then bring it back down. All right, last one here, and then we're going to compare all of this with those neck rolls. I want you to take your right hand, and you're going to place it right there on your jawline. So it's not going to look like I'm actually moving at all, but what I'm doing here is I'm pushing my hand into my face, and I'm pushing my face into my hand. But again, it won't look like I'm moving. So I'm going to take an inhale, sit up tall, and basically I'm going to fight myself here. So my hand is desperately trying to turn my head, but my head is not going to allow it to be turned. I'm going to feel all the muscles along the side of my neck really bulge and become active. Might even feel a little bit of work in the shoulder because you're trying real hard. Sitting up nice and tall, or just activating that one side and holding here for another 3, for another 2, for another 1. Slowly release. Take a look over that shoulder and see, ooh, maybe if that feels a little bit better than it has before. Maybe compare it to the other side. Back to center, and we'll do the other side. Take the hand right on the jawline, and then I'm going to take an inhale to sit up tall, and I'm going to pretty much fight myself. Now, we don't want either one to win, so I don't want to end up turning my head or end up letting my hand win this. So make sure you're up nice and tall, fighting yourself. Again, you're going to feel the side of the neck really bulge and become active here. Keep breathing, keep fighting with equal forces. So again, it really doesn't look like you're doing anything at all, but there's a lot of energy and a lot of activity happening for another 3, another 2, and another 1. As you slowly release, take a peek over that shoulder. Notice, oh my goodness, it's kind of a magic trick, really. It's so nice. It gives you so much more mobility. All right, so let's put it all together. Relax the chin under the chest. Take one more nice big circle of the neck and see just how much you've done, whether it's greater range of motion, less crackles, maybe less sensation. Maybe there's that spot that was sore to roll through is now good to go. Take one in the opposite direction, just bringing in all that good positive feedback that we are influencing the structure of the neck for the better. Once the brain has that really nice, good positive feedback, then it's more likely to do more of that good stuff to help it. All right. We're going to roll on over to hands and knees. And then I want you to remember how we push the skull into the floor. All right. So once you're on hands and knees, we're going to stack it up, shoulders on wrists, hips on knees, firm belly. Now imagine that you are, again, pressing the back of your skull into the mat, but now the mat is the ceiling. So can you press the skull into the ceiling, feeling those ropey muscles on either side of the neck light up? You're going to become very, very straight from the head to the tailbone. Okay, kind of relax, take a big inhale. And the next up, can you recreate it? Push the skull up into the ceiling, creating that really firm musculature around the neck. All right. Okay, now go ahead and relax completely. We've got cat-cow. Inhale, drop the ribs. Exhale, push, arch, and tuck the tailbone. Take a few of these movements here, getting as long as you can through the spine, but bringing movement to each and every link in the chain. Here we got 2 more. Last one with your breath. Inhale to drop the ribs. Exhale to arch up nice and high. And then now can you immediately come back into that perfect position of skull pressing up into the ceiling, creating that really nice long line that we need from head to tail. Okay, can you keep that as you take that right arm forward? So the bicep's going to almost brush the ear here. Can you keep pushing the skull up into the ceiling as you kick that left heel back? So now we're adding challenge onto this, saying, okay, neck, we really need you to keep you still in space, keep you here, that perfect posture, but we're going to add on some challenge. Okay, we're here for 3, we're here for 2, we're here for 1. Bring it back and you can relax, take a big breath. All right, we basically just want to recreate this over and over again so the neck has a really good idea of where it needs to be in space at all times. All right, ready? Take the skull, press it up into the ceiling. Maybe you add in the left hand. This could be more than enough and you're challenged to keep the neck in space. Maybe you kick the right heel back, press the skull upwards, creating that really nice long line here as we offer challenge and lengthen the body. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back down. All right, remember that skull push. We're going to keep adding on to it. Hug the shoulder heads into the socket. Step back into plank. Take a big inhale. Exhale as you're coming down dog. Completely let go of anything in the neck. Let it just free fall here, relaxing the chin to the chest. Take a big breath here as you lengthen the spine. And then when you're ready, we'll walk ourselves all the way up to the top of the mat, rolling ourselves upwards to find standing. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and move our props. We'll want the block at the top of the mat. We're going to want that resistance band towards the top of the mat. We won't need our tennis balls until the very end of class, so I'm going to place them over here on the blanket. Okay, top of the mat. We've got sun A's. Again, remember how we press the skull and engage those neck muscles because we're going to do it again. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees if you need or use the block to keep straight legs. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, step back into plank. Pause. Can you immediately press the skull up into the ceiling, creating that nice straight line down the spine? Drop the knees. Drop to the belly. Okay? With the belly button firming up to the spine, lift cobra, pressing the skull up into the ceiling, and slowly relax. Take 2 more like that. Engaging the muscles of the neck as you lift, and as you lower, strengthening those really important pillars of support. Lift and lower. Take the right arm out 90 degrees. We're going to slide it over away from us. And as we roll for the pec stretch, we're going to keep that right shoulder head hugged up into the socket. Take a big breath here. The pec muscles usually get tight because we're hunched over our computers or because we have bad posture. So we're going to lengthen these out. It's going to help us give us chance at better posture as we stand here in a moment. Bring it back, left elbow 90 degrees, slide it on over, plant it, and then just keep that shoulder head hugged up in the socket so we're not smooshing it down to the floor here. Big breath as you feel that big strap of muscle across the left shoulder head. And we'll take your time rolling on back to the belly with the hands at the rib cage, belly's firm. Feel free to use your knees to come back up into plank. Immediately press the skull up into the ceiling to create that firm pillar of support on either side of the spine. And then when you're in down dog, you get to completely let go and relax. Much needed rest for the neck because we're working it hard. Looking forward, stepping forward, top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. All right, imagine that you're now pressing the skull into the mat, but now the mat is behind you, so you're pushing back to have the ears go right up over the shoulders. Last on A, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, step back from plank. Can you create that really good posture, pressing the skull up into the ceiling? Drop the knees, drop the belly. All right, both elbows are going at 90 degrees this time. Lift the skull up into the ceiling. Now squeeze the shoulder blades together and lower. We've got a couple of these. Squeeze to create wrinkles between the shoulder blades and let it go. As you do a few more, hopefully you're going to feel a little bit of heat build between the shoulder blades. That muscle to activate. We almost keep doing these. That muscle is so crucial to keep the shoulder blades back, and that helps our neck to do less work of being where it needs to be in space. All right, hands to the rib cage. Find your plank, maybe with the assistance of your knees. Check out the alignment of your neck, and then press back into down dog, completely relaxing the muscles of the neck. Looking forward, stepping forward, top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, we're starting for our sun B's here. So we're going to really focusing on where our neck is in space. So we want this idea of always knowing that we're stacked up. So often we are here, which our ears come forward, and we have that forward head carriage, and that's going to cause a lot of strain on these neck muscles and these muscles between the shoulder blades. All right, so we constantly want to have this really good posture so the muscles aren't overworking or underworking. So here we go, feet top of the mat. Can you give me some of those skull pushes? You're pushing the skull back into the mat behind you. Press and relax. If you need to put your fingers on either side of the spine, feel free. Or sometimes it's helpful to kind of imagine your chin bone right here. Kind of follow that chin bone up, and that's the direction that your energy is going. Okay? You're going right up here like a big old smile. So you're lifting the back of the skull and pressing it into that mat that's behind you for another 3, for another 2, and last 1. Inhale, hands up overhead. Keep those ears next to those biceps as you sit down into your chair with heavy heels. Big inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Use a block if you like. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa. I'm just going to step back in down dog here, releasing any energy that's being used in the neck. Right toes up in the sky, toes pointed down. As you exhale, kick this foot all the way through. Spin your back heel down, rise up warrior 2, immediately stacking the shoulders on top of the hips, okay? We're gonna check that the knee goes through the middle of the foot. Now what I wanna do here is check that I'm stacked up, not only shoulders on hips, but also ears on shoulders. So I'm gonna activate those neck muscles, back of the neck nice and long, pressing the skull back into that mat behind me. Take a big inhale. Can I keep this alignment as I drop into side angle? So right forearm or right fingertips. What we so often do is just kind of let the head go into gravity, surrender to it, and then you're hanging out and you're not in that alignment. So you kind of want to imagine a constant rod down your back from the crown of the head to the tip of your tailbone. So keep that, lengthen, big inhale. Okay, challenging it again, straight arms, straight legs. As you reach up, can you keep the neck long? So rather than gazing up at the hand and possibly wrinkling up the back of the neck, can you gaze forward, continuing the idea of ears on top of shoulders? Triangle pose, reach forward and down. All right, gravity's going to want to win this. Don't let it. Rather than sagging down, keep it in alignment with the rest of your spine. Big inhale to lengthen. And then exhale, bend the knees, hands come down, walk to the middle of your mat. So as we square off our feet like we're on railroad tracks, relax the chin to the chest. And you're welcome to hang here. If you need to bend the knees to do so, you can. What I like to do is interlace my hands around the back of my neck, hooking my skull, kind of like an airplane pillow, and then just use that to hang. It's like you're gently tractioning out the spine. So absolutely bend the knees, especially if you feel locked out. One more big breath here, just lengthening the neck and relaxing, giving it a break, and then hands to the floor. As you walk forward, we're going to slide back into down dog, lengthen, second side. Inhale, left toes up, toes pointed down. Exhale, kick it all the way through. Spin the back heel down, rise up warrior 2, immediately checking on that knee, but then also stacking it up. Shoulders on hips, and then ears on shoulders. Most of us have to push our head back because we're so used to that forward head carriage. All right, so pushing the skull back. Take a big inhale. Keeping the integrity of the neck, can you take side angle? Rather than dumping into it, keep it long. Imagine that rod right down your spine. One more breath. As you rise up, try to keep that neck long as you find your reverse triangle. So maybe not looking up at the fingertips. And then keep the integrity of the neck as you come forward and down for triangle pose. Pressure through the ball of the foot, maybe micro bend the knee, and then continue to lengthen rather than drag. One more breath. All right, bend the knee as the hands come down. Down dog, lengthen it out, release the chin to the chest, hang heavy in the head. Looking forward, bend the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall, and then exhale, hands to heart center. All right, I'm going to use my resistance band here, but you're welcome to do what we did last round, which is just to push the skull back, okay? So for a lot of us, if we're already feeling a lot of fatigue here in the neck, then we know this is our homework for sure. We're just going to sit there and push the skull back, kind of, again, imagining those energy lines that match that smiley face shape of our jaw. We're just going to stay here. If we need a little bit more feedback or a little more challenge, I'm going to take this resistance band. I'm going to put it around the head, very much like a 1980s sweatband here, right above the ears. And then I'm going to place my hands in front of me. Now, I really do want to imagine a wall here. And if you have a wall, even better, because then you can put your forearms on it, which really does help with alignment, okay? I'm going to imagine my forearms on a wall. My ears are stacked on top of my shoulders. I'm going to gently push back against the strap and then slowly release. So I'm not pushing and allowing the strap to win here. I'm just slowly pushing back. 3, 2, 1, and then bring it forward. 3, 2, 1. So I'm going from neutral, ears on shoulder, to slightly back behind, and then bringing it right back. I don't want to come forward, okay? So just a few of these, and usually it's more than enough. Back and forth. And then just double check that it's not your hands moving. This is why a wall is really nice, because if you're against a wall, then it's less likely that you cheat. So absolutely do this against a wall. If you find it really productive, this could be some homework that you do every day for a couple of weeks. 3, 2, 1. All right, get rid of the strap if you're using it. Second round, inhale, hands up. Exhale, sit down into your chair. Biceps next to ears. Keep the neck long. Forward fold on the exhale. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, step back into down dog. Or if you want your chaturanga, feel free to drop the knees. You can modify with me if you'd like. All right, lengthen out. Relax the chin to the chest. Inhale, right toes up. On your exhale, kick your foot through. This time, spin your back, heel down. Keep the hips facing forward as you rise up, warrior one. All right, so this is going to be a little bit more difficult for the neck. We've got the ears to biceps here, keeping the hips pointing forward. All right, lengthen through the back of the neck. Big inhale. If this is ever too much, you can take the hands out of the equation. I'd rather have that good alignment than you fighting yourself. All right. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to lean forward. We're going to sweep the hands back, but can you keep the ears in alignment with the shoulders as you move through space? Okay, rise up. You can check biceps to ears. Have you got it? Perfect. Now lean forward. You're changing your orientation, but you're still trying to keep that really good awareness of where the head is stacked. Okay, what you don't want to do is lean forward and just kind of surrender, round the back, chin to chest. Okay, give me one more like this. Hands out of it. Good. Now this time as you come forward, still keep that really nice alignment of the neck, but this time take your bind, interlace, open up the chest, that big pec stretch that we need. And again, you're going to want to do something weird in the neck. Try to keep the integrity of that long line from your ears to your shoulders down to your tailbone. Take a big breath here in our humble warrior. And then I'm going to release the hands to the floor and walk to the middle of the mat. I'm going goddess. So heels in, toes out, rise up, stick your booty back behind you. We're going to strengthen the muscle between the shoulder blades. So like we did at the beginning of class, I want you to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Just like we did laying on our belly doing cobra, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You're going to feel the muscles wrinkle up between them. You're going to feel a little bit of heat build here. Keep the shoulder blades down the back so we're not here. And then you can do as many of these as you want, maybe a little lingering at that top end of the movement, really trying to get that muscle to keep the shoulder blades pinned together. This is the muscle that's going to help keep the shoulder blades on the back and not allow them to slide forward in bad posture. We're here for 3. We're here for 2. And last 1. All right, hands come down. Walk to the top of the mat. Slide back into down dog. Lengthen it out. Let's switch it out. Relax the chin to the chest. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, kick your foot all the way through. Spin your back heel down, but keep the hips facing forward. Warrior one. Let's get that really good alignment of lengthening out the neck as well as pushing the head back in space. Biceps lined up with those ears. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale as you lean forward, getting rid of the arms. They kind of give you that guidance and support. Can you really dial your awareness up to 10 and make sure that you're staying in alignment with everything else? You're not tucking the chin to the chest. You're not rounding here. We got one more big flow, keeping everything really shooting through the crown of your head. Okay, this time we're going to get the hands out of the way. Can you keep that alignment as you interlace the hands and find your bind? Palms are sealed. Roll the shoulder heads back. We're not tucking the chin to the chest, and we're not dumping wrinkles into the back of the neck. One more inhale, and then exhale, release to the floor. Walk to the middle of your mat. I've got goddess again, a little different this time. Heels in, toes out. Bring it on up. So last time we squeezed our shoulder blades together like this. Okay, now I want to take the bottom tips of my shoulder blades together. So it's going to make this cute little heart shape. Take the bottom and pin them together. My arms are along for the ride, so I know my arms are moving a little bit, but I'm not moving my arms. It's my shoulder blades that are doing the work. I feel a cinching in right here, right where the bottom tips of my shoulder blades are. They're coming in together, and I'm feeling the heat build right there in that small space. This guy right here is absolutely crucial to keeping good posture, and he tends to be very dormant and very weak. So these are something that's really, really fundamental to gathering the strength in order to keep ourselves held up in space and not just kind of surrender to bad posture. We're going to be here for 3 more squeezes, for 2, and last 1. Hands come down. Walk to the top of the mat, slide back, find down dog to relax the neck completely. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, get tall. Check out that biceps to ears, and then take the hands down by the sides. Now take a moment to see if you can create the very best posture that you think is available to you. And we're going to do a little tester here, okay? So if you have a corner that juts out, so not a corner that sinks in, a corner that juts out, or what I did is I took my broom head off of its handle, and this is going to be my little tester for my posture, okay? So if you don't have that available to you, no worries. beauty of online classes. You can always come back and do it later. What I want to do here is just kind of check how much I've influenced my posture. So I'm going to take this to my back, and my hand is going to be in the small of my back. I want just enough space for my hand to be able to grab this pole. All right, that's kind of how I know, again, that I've got good posture. The back of my head is touching, the middle of my shoulder blades is touching, and my tailbone is touching. Okay, so when you first do this, it might feel completely ridiculous. It feels like you're too upright and this couldn't possibly look like normal posture. But once you get used to it and once your muscles support you in space like this, it's going to feel very natural, and anything other than that is going to feel ridiculous. All right, so find it. If you are on a wall with a corner, then great. You might try to step away from it, get out for a second, and then recreate it and test it. Did you get it? If you have the pole, what's really nice here is you can actually kind of walk around in space, see what it feels like to actually move around. You can change hands if you need to, and see what it is to have that really good posture, because eventually you do want to move around like that. Okay? Again, I promise the first couple times you do it, it feels insane. It feels like you're like leaning way too far back. But once your body's in alignment and everything's stacked up, it really does put so much less stress on those muscles, and it gets rid of those tension headaches, because a lot of the headaches are caused from muscles that are just hanging on for dear life. They're either too weak to do their job, so they're just chronically locked, or they're overworking. They're doing too much, and the other muscles aren't supporting them. So try your little posture test, and then memorize what that felt like to have something touching the back of the head, the back of the shoulder blades, the tailbone all lined up, and we're going to use that in our last flow. Okay, here we go. Top of the mat. I'm going to grab my resistance band one more time. One more opportunity to get just a little bit more heat in the muscles that I'm really focused on. So I'm going to put on that 1980s headband, maybe planting my hands on the wall. Here I go. 5 of these. Back and forth, making sure that my ears go from stacked on top of shoulders to slightly up and back, kind of that smiley shape of the jawbone. We're here for 3, no double chins, 2, and last 1. All right, for sure I've got the sides of my neck really talking to me. I know that those are the muscles I'm working. Inhale, hands up overhead. Biceps next to ears as you have a seat. Keep that integrity of the neck. Forward fold. Relax the chin to the chest. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, find your vinyasa, which could absolutely be down dog. Maybe you're dropping the knees like we did last time. Maybe you're pressing the skull into the ceiling, thinking about that pole that was down your back as you take your chaturanga and your up dog. Here we go, last flow. Inhale, right toes up. Exhale, kick it all the way through. Now power through your back heel as you rise up, crescent pose. And you're immediately going to think about that neck, right? Long through the back of the neck. Engage those muscles to push the head back against the mat behind you. Take an inhale. All right, can you keep the biceps next to the ears as you lean forward? Now we've got more weight here, so it's a little more difficult. And then bring yourself back in space. Don't let the head dip forward. Don't let the arms win here. Do 2 more leaning forward and pulling back. Your neck is kind of in that airplane pillow that we talked about earlier. All right, here we go. We got warrior 3. Bend, push, lift. Can you keep the ears next to the bicep? Can you imagine that pull touching the back of your head between your shoulder blades and your tailbone? Take 1 more inhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Push the skull up into the ceiling like you did in Cobra. And then exhale, hands down, toes down, down dog. Last side, last set. All right, neck should be feeling it. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, kick it all the way through, strong through the legs as you rise up, stacking up ears on shoulders. Take an inhale. Exhale, lean forward, not letting that adjustment of the weight mess anything up in the neck. We are aware of where our neck is in space. We're aware of the muscles that we're using, the energy that we're spending. We know exactly what we want to accomplish here. All right, here we go. Bend, push, lift, press the skull up into the ceiling, keeping a nice flat low back, level shoulder blades. 1 more breath as we lengthen and utilize all those neck muscles to lift, 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 lift. And then hands down, toes down, last down dog. Relax the chin to the chest. All right, go ahead and drop the knees. Whew. All right, so hopefully you have a new appreciation, a new awareness for those neck muscles that support us. They're the ones that when they are fired up and doing their job correctly, they're going to keep away that tension headache that is from that forward head carriage, which those muscles are just trying to pull you back in space and just aren't strong enough to do so. Okay, so as promised, we're going to finish with a really nice massage, and then our shavasana will involve that blanket roll with an extra little twist here. Okay, so I'm going to need my 2 myofascial release balls. I'm going to need my block, and I'm going to be getting the traps here. So if you can take your lobster claw and kind of squeeze here, what you're pinching is where the ball is going to go. So once I lay down here in a second, I'm going to take the ball and just kind of roll him right up underneath that, and it will feel like someone is pinching those traps, right? Block's handy. We'll use him in just a second. So once I lay down, ball in each hand, I'm going to roll him right up underneath. And I don't want to shove him down so far that they disappear. All right, I can still kind of feel them at the tops of my shoulders. Right? Once I'm here, the block on the medium setting is going to go underneath my sacrum, which is that flat spot before the tailbone. You should be comfortable here, so make sure the block is in a spot where you can really just hang down in this hammock and relax. All right? Once I'm good, I'm already starting to feel pretty good deep tissue massage here on the tops of my shoulders. So my arms are going to be down by my sides, palms facing upwards. Just like we did with our block massage on the neck, I'm going to take a big breath, relax, and melt into the pressure rather than fighting it and resisting it. And then if it eases and I'm like, okay, this is good, then I'll slowly start to make a snow angel until I feel that pressure increase. I'm like, ooh, okay, this is where I need to pause, breathe, and relax into, right? So the first block massage was the muscles that connect into the skull. So what we're getting now is the flip side of that. So these are where the muscles come down from the neck and connect into the shoulders. Both sides and both attachment points can be grumpy. So we're just checking out both of them. Now, if at any point something doesn't feel symmetrical, or if you're like, oh, I really think I need the ball, well, maybe a little closer to my neck, maybe a little further down, maybe a little closer to my shoulder head, go ahead and make those adjustments. You want to feel the body and what it's telling you. Where do you need that massage at? I'm going to continue to breathe. I'm going to continue to relax. And then again, just like before, if something starts to cool down and feel good, okay, then maybe I take my arms up a little higher. All right, we're going to be here for just a moment longer. We're just allowing gravity to take over here. We're allowing this compression to force hydration through these muscles. So it's kind of like ironing out wrinkles in a shirt. Keep breathing. Keep getting heavy in belly. I'm going to give you one more tool in your toolbox, but honestly, if you're good here and this is feeling great, just breathe. Or I'm going to take my arms across my chest, which could give you a different sensation. Or you could even do a little rock right and left, which will isolate the side. So if that feels good, and you want to hang out on the right side maybe for a second because there's something good that you want to investigate, or on the left. So again, that little rock and roll movement. Maybe you like taking the arms back and forth from that position, kind of massaging and threading it back and forth. You got one more minute to get what you need. At the end of the day, everything should be productive and nothing should be painful. Last big breath here. Whew. I can definitely tell my right side is a little more upset with me than my left. All right. So we're going to take the arms back down by the sides, which will lessen the intensity. We're going to take away the block, which will then take the weight out of the massage, land with that nice flat low back, and then we'll take out the tennis balls one at a time. Oh, feels so good. It's like a vice has been released from my shoulders and neck. All right, you want to make sure that everything is placed somewhere that's not going to mess with you in Shavasana. And then we want to bring that blanket back into play with an extra little twist this time. So I'll find that roll, which is going to perfectly match my neck. It's just such a nice way to finish because the neck has worked real hard. So we're going to give him, again, that little vacation. Once you have the spot, if you like this, you can absolutely stay. You're good to go. Or what I like to do is take the corners and I'm going to tuck them underneath. So I'm just going to slowly roll under, and I'm going to keep rolling under until it cushions the side of my head. So it's like my head is in this little inner tube, just floating on the waves. It's so nice and supported. So once you have that all set, knees can be bent or legs can be long. Come on down, get heavy in the shoulders. Let's tap right back into that resource of the breath. Recognizing that our breath dictates how our body responds. The breath is sending signals to the nervous system, so we want them to be the right kind. We want these breaths to fill up the entirety of the torso. We want to be able to take our time here so that the body knows that we're safe. We're taking these large cycles of breath, and clearly we are not in any danger, and there's no need for the nervous system to be on high alert. Continue to take these large cycles of breath and begin to flow the exhales down the body, little waves of awareness, taking in the last little bits of information. That could be the massage-like quality of the shoulders. Maybe you feel some warmth from the blood flow. Could be a longer feeling neck. Maybe you've ironed out some wrinkles from the block massage. Maybe the neck feels a little tired from all the work that we did. As you move down the spine, check that there's no energy being spent here in this pose. We're truly relaxed, fully surrendered to gravity. And then finally use that resource of your breath to anchor to this space against the waves of distractions. That could mean breathing up and down the body, continuing to pick out sensations. Could be counting the breaths. How long does it take you to go in and out? How similar are those numbers? Could be saying something positive with each cycle of breath. I am well. I am still. Or could be visualizing those waves of breath moving up and down the body like ocean waves. Maybe even hearing those ocean waves in your breath as you continue to breathe for just a few more moments here. Keeping the eyes closed down, continue to breathe in and out the nose, but release that anchor that was holding you in place. As you begin to wiggle fingers and toes, let's take in the sensations of the body, what feels different in the muscles, in the joints, in the breath, in the brain. And then trying not to spend too much of that energy, go ahead and slowly find a full body stretch, reaching through the fingers and the toes, moving the pillow any way that you need. We'll gently draw the knees into the chest, more opportunity to see more improvements, maybe in the low back, the hips, the shoulders. Eventually, we're going to roll all the way over to the right side. Taking a moment here to feel grounded, to feel safe, and to hit the reset button. To recognize that whatever happened before the mat doesn't need to follow you after you're finished. Whether that was something in the brain, something in the body. When you feel like you've drawn up what you need to leave this space the very best version of you, then slowly rise up to a seated position. And then let's go ahead and practice that really good posture of sitting with the ears on top of the shoulders, on top of the hips, that long back of the neck, with the hands together at heart center. Thank you so very much for taking time out of your day to find movement and stillness. breath work and mindfulness, and to recognize just how much this time greatly influences the other time of both your day and night. It was my honor to lead you through class. Namaste. Thank you guys very much for joining me for yoga to prevent headaches. Hopefully you're going to take all these tools and use them in the next couple days, see how they influence the amount of tension that you have in the head, neck, and shoulders.